The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Hello, friends. It's Masters time. This is the Pat Mayo Experience. I am Pat Mayo, and we are breaking down the 2018 Masters picks and preview. We're going to be covering the entire field, telling you about our bets so far, and then Monday, myself and Geoff Fienberg will be back to finalize your picks. You're still on your phone, I see. Great start to the Masters.
I'm going to blame people for that.
Okay, good. We'll blame whoever. Do you like our fancy new coats that I got us? They're like lab coats.
Yeah, they are lab coats. I think I've got underwear that's like a thicker fabric.
Here's the thing. When you wait too long, when you have the idea to get the green jackets, but then you wait too long and then you look them up on like March 17th and you're like, hey, Amazon, can this be here by the end of March? It's like, no, it can be there by the middle of May for like a nice, like actually colored green jacket. Then there was this other one, it's like $30, Halloween costume, let's do it.
Yeah.
My wife had to cut this down on me and it still looks like if my dad was obese, this would be his jacket. And it's still too big.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not the easiest guy to get a jacket for because I've got that like Costanza build, right? So, you know, sometimes things need to be worked over. You know, it's hard to get anything off the rack, let alone off the internet.
We're basically Bill Nye the Masters guys.
Yeah, we're little scientists, except unlike your amazing video, I don't think either of us have money on Justin Rose.
No, if people haven't checked that out yet, I'll show you just a quick little supercut. I had over 30 people from around the golf industry to give their picks to win, their sleepers for the DraftKings Millionaire Maker, and their overall pick to win. And one name kept popping up. Let's see who it was.
I'm talking about a Rose. Justin Rose, 16-1 odds available right this second. He is my Masters pick.
My pick to win the Masters is Justin Rose.
Justin Rose at $9,200 on DraftKings.
My pick to win the 2018 Masters is Justin Rose.
I'm going to go with Justin Rose.
My pick to win at the 2018 Masters will be Justin Rose.
Well, the golfer that fits the most trends this year and is going to be the pick to win in my book is going to be Justin Rose.
My pick to win this week is Justin Rose.
My pick to win the 2018 Masters is Justin Rose.
Justin Rose. Not my pick to win, but the pick of a lot of people to win.
Seems destined. Listen, this guy, since I want to say the holidays, like Christmas, whether it was overseas, has been T5ing or in contention on the weekend every time he's put a tee in the ground. It almost feels like even Supreme Justin Rose backers have told me in these events leading up that he didn't even want to win them. But he was like playing so well, which I'm not really going to believe worth a salt, but if he's waiting to pop that load at the Masters, it wouldn't surprise me.
9 top 10s in his past 10 starts. That's not including Shell, because obviously we don't know what's happened at Shell. But it could be 10 for 11.
He is playing, I mean, every statistical metric has you picking Justin Rose. I think he's the best, maybe even DraftKings player you can have. The outright at the numbers this week, I don't see it anymore.
We'll see. I ran my custom model, and if you go to fantasynational.com right now, it's a great week to actually go to fantasynational.com. You can do the 1 week membership, the monthly membership, because you're going to play the Masters. Use Fantasy National. You're probably going to do pretty well, so you're going to want to keep translating that into more golf. So play for the next month or get the full year. I mentioned last week that if you subscribed and became a member on Wednesday, that you would get Wednesday to Wednesday. So you'd get Houston and you'd get the Masters. Now, if you do the yearly plan, this week you get Masters to Masters. Boom. It's great value right there.
Absolutely.
So in my custom model, he's 5th over the past 24 rounds. So he's not the best.
No, but on a lot of people's metrics, he's like popping 1 or 2.
Yeah, I can see that. Especially when you factor in how well he's played at Augusta over the years.
And I would say this, Pat, so few players have drifted, odds have gotten shorter, but he is on that short list, no pun intended, of guys whose odds have gotten shorter. It's essentially Tiger Woods, Bubba, Justin Rose, and that's really about
Rory.
it.
Rory's back to where he started.
Yeah, but Rory still, when we were doing our shows at Christmas, he was always in this like 8.5, 9,
He was, but he dropped
range.
to like 14 for a bit when he wasn't playing well, and then he won. Then he just skyrocketed back up to be the favorite.
Sure, and he joined those favorites. And I guess also Paul Casey's another guy who's drifted quite down and is now, I guess, bettable for some people.
Yeah, well, listen, if you watch that DraftKings Millionaire Maker show, there is someone who picked Paul Casey to be wearing probably the same green jacket as this, I'm going to guess. I think it's like the same quality, same material, same everything. I actually haven't seen a real green jacket in person and touched it like when you win the Masters, but I assume this is pretty close.
Yeah, I would think so. This is something that's hitting when they're getting fitted. It's exactly what it would look like.
I think this is what they make Danny Willett wear now. They made him like, it's like how people wanted Cuba Gooding Jr. to return his Oscar because his career was so terrible afterwards. They're going to give Danny Willett, they're going to make him return his green jacket and give him this piece of shit.
It's already over?
No.
Like, I'm not saying he's going to win big things again, but we're just checked out entirely.
Man, he's been awful for 2 years and now he has a shoulder injury. He is closer. He's in this field and he's playing this week.
He's in this field forever.
Yeah, but it took him 2 years to become the Trevor Immelman of this field. Like, he's closer to Vijay Singh and Fred Couples than he is of guys who are actually going to win.
Love you, Danny.
We do love you, Danny.
Love him. So,
whatever. I mean, Danny had his baby swag that week, and he helped pay for a large chunk of my wedding, so that was nice. Yeah, and thanks a lot, Danny.
And good thing, like, as people encouraged me to do, I didn't buy my, like, autographed Danny Willett Masters picture the week after he won the Masters, because I'm sure you could probably get it on eBay for like $8 these days.
I mean, next season, if you're not around, I might have Danny Willett in to replace you if you're unavailable. All right, so what I do want to let people know is that I was doing a giveaway for the Houston Open as it pertained to the DraftKings Millionaire Maker. I will release those winners over the weekend, but you're not out of luck if you didn't win. I will be doing one more draw. So here's what you need to do. You take to the Twitter's machines, and you have to use the hashtag, what I write here, DK Masters. That's pretty easy. You have to put that so when I search it, I can see everyone's names for the draw. If you don't use it, you're just never going to pop up. So here's what you need to do. Before I said, leave in rate a review on iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify, anywhere where the audio podcast is. You can still do that. I would really love that. 5 stars. Takes like 5 seconds. Also, you can become a follower and like the Facebook page because that's where my betting cheat sheet is going to be come next Wednesday when all the finalized picks are out, the props, the parlays, all that fun stuff. So you don't want to miss it there. There's always a running scroll of everything on my Facebook page. But for this contest, hashtag DK Masters, all I'm asking you to do is share this show and share the DraftKings Millionaire Maker show. Whether that is a share on Facebook, whether that is a retweet on Twitter. Not just a like, you can give it a like too, that would be very helpful. But a retweet of both the shows, and then underneath that show, in the replies, just leave your DK name, hashtag DK Masters, and boom, you're in the draw for a Millionaire Maker ticket. Or it'll be like 20 DK bucks, which you can use towards a DraftKings Millionaire Maker ticket. Because hey, I want someone out there to win the $1 million. If it's not gonna be me, I probably want Fienberg to win, and then Shag behind the camera. Then after that, one of you guys out there. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
In the original, like in one of their original ad campaigns where they're making like statues of the people that won, I would say if like Bernd Wiesberger wins this year's Masters, they're gonna make a statue of me.
And then he didn't.
No, he never came close.
All right, you want to get into this?
I'm kind of ready.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to run through and talk about the field and our leans right now. We're going to give you our official bets that we have in so far at the end of the show. Monday, when the odds readjust, because they will readjust and drift both ways, come Monday after the Houston Open, and we see what happens there, and then the odds are based off the results and the recency bias. Then we're going to finalize our pick. So if there's something we like today, we'll say that we're in on it. If it's a number we like, if we think it might drift up. There are other guys that I'm playing the wait and see game with, and I'll finalize that on Monday. So let's get to the top of the field. Ready?
Let's go.
The betting favorite, Rory McIlroy, comes in at 9-1. He's followed by Justin Thomas and Dustin Johnson at 10-1. And Tiger Woods also 10-1. Justin Rose, the clear winner of the Masters this year, according to everyone, 14. Spieth, 14. Jason Day, 18. Ricky Fowler, Phil Mickelson, and John Rahm are all 20-1 to wear a lovely green jacket. I think everyone knows where I stand on this. I'm waiting for that Spieth number to drift. I'm already in on Spieth with 2 parlayed bets when he was at 7-1 from over Christmas. Probably should have waited, but it was okay because I have a Eagles to beat the Falcons on the spread +3, plus Jordan Spieth to win the Masters, and I have 2 college bowl games against the spread parlayed with Jordan Spieth. So I have him at 28-1 on both fronts. So that's nice. It's a nice cushion I have. And got some stuff in the works over the Houston weekend with the LPGA Tour parlayed with Jordan Spieth. So,
and you might not be done.
No, I might.
I mean, you've acknowledged to me off air that, let's say Jordan doesn't have that hot round in Houston that everyone's waiting for, and this line drifts even higher.
Oh, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm gambling right now that Spieth basically doesn't top 5 in Houston. Because if he doesn't top 5 in Houston, that number either stays where it is, or it goes that. If he misses the cut, which I don't really want to see, I'd like to see him come like T47 or something like that. But this number could drift to 20 because no one's betting Spieth.
Okay, but forgetting the T5, because with a guy like that, he could still finish like T20, but if that comes on the heels of like a 64 Sunday, I think that won't help you.
Maybe not, but how much worse does this number get? If he wins, it goes to 10.
I don't know. Match play went off at 18. We know match play is an intricate format that has variables that can sometimes hurt elite players, as we saw specifically this year. I was shocked to see him go off at 18 at match play, so I wouldn't doubt it. You could argue the field, essentially the same size.
Yeah, same players.
It's ridiculous. I don't see it getting higher. I really don't.
I do.
Like a miscut would get it higher, but there's no...
But I also don't want him to miss the cut. That'd be bad.
Yeah, of course.
That'd be bad news.
Like, Dustin, Tiger, Rory aren't here to win in Houston to say, to give a guy like Jordan another bump.
No, I agree with you. And the big thing with Spieth for me is that obviously he has the Augusta history. We all kind of know that. He has 4 starts at Augusta over his career. He has a win, 2 seconds, and an 11th. And his 11th was last year. And people forget he went into the second. He was in the second to last group last year with Ricky, and they both sucked.
They both sucked. Sunday morning, most people, at least on this side of the pond, that's where they thought the winner would likely come. Because one group included Sergio, who couldn't win.
Yeah, Sergio couldn't win the Masters, so he obviously... I thought Rose was going to win. I had my Rose money in. I was like, oh, here we go. It's like, I'm going to be right about the Masters. This is going to be great. Fortunately, he made it to the playoffs so I could hedge. And that's the one thing that you'll notice with a lot of the bets that I have in so far, a lot of big numbers. For the fact that if one of these guys gets into it come Sunday, you have a lot of hedge equity to go around.
And, I mean, for starters, my parlays at the top. A lot of Dustin Johnson parlays made in football season. That Chargers second half heater really paid off. I went to get organized last night. Saw a lot of, even Charger losses that they covered spreads. That's still...
well, they went through a stretch for, the first part of the season where they covered, 7 of 8 spreads.
Yeah.
All by, a point.
But that's when they were losing.
Yeah.
And then they started,
They were still covering the 3, though, because they'd lose by 2.
Biggest bets coming on Thanksgiving and that, where they couldn't kick extra points or field goals and then whatever. No need to break any of that down. What's funny, though, to your point is your Jordan numbers. This is November we're talking, right? December. These Dustin parlays I have, which are obviously better than the 10 to 1s you get today. They're 15, 18, 24. It was $750.
So I think we've learned the lesson that if
Tiger changed everything, man.
Even if Tiger wasn't here, these guys wouldn't be 7.5 to 1. They wouldn't.
They wouldn't be 10 either, though.
They probably would be. With the way that
I don't know.
With the way that middle tier has come up, the Caseys, the Bubbas, those guys have made the runs.
I get it.
Along with Tiger, it's dropped everyone down.
Yeah, sure. But here's the thing. I was never betting that at 7 or 8 to 1.
No.
It was all about the parlay and guys drifted, even Fowler, who might go off at 25 next week. I've got him at a starting point of 18 to 1 parlayed with a lot of those same games.
If he misses the cut,
impossible.
If he misses the cut in Houston,
impossible. I have no idea. They could be in a monsoon, but I'm saying impossible.
I'm just saying that if he does, or he just plays very poorly. Let's say he gets through the cut and has a terrible weekend. Just thinking about Augusta, hey, I'm out of this. Screw it. I'm just going to go out and bomb it around for a bit, practice some shots. I can see him getting to 30.
Oh, my God. That's my parlay number.
I know.
That have been sitting dead money for months. Of all these guys, I would have thought for sure. I mean, I say it. When we did those Christmas records, I thought there was no way Ricky didn't come to now without a win. But, and even Dustin. I mean, Dustin won TOC. Yeah.
The past 4 Masters champions have all won in that calendar year before the Masters. So Dustin qualifies.
Rahm qualifies. Rory qualifies.
Justin Thomas qualifies. Jason Day qualifies. Phil qualifies.
Casey, Rahm. I might have said Rahm.
Casey, Bubba, Sergio, Haotong Lee. Don't forget about Haotong. Who else?
Barnrat.
Barnrat has 2 wins because he went to the AsianWeb.com tour and won as well, along with the Super 6. So that's interesting.
Yeah, no, a lot of elite, you're right. A lot of that second-tier elite.
Gary Woodland.
Found wins.
Ted Potter Jr. I don't think Ted Potter is going to win the Masters. Sorry, Ted. You won me some cash earlier this year, but probably the end of the line for you.
I mean, yeah, it's amazing. And then here's Justin Thomas, who's won about 30% of the times he tees it up. And then think about the recency where he still flirts with that 30% number, Pat. He didn't win match play, made it to the Final Four. He didn't win Mexico. What was it, a playoff, or he just lost on the last hole to Phil?
No, because he jarred it on 18
yeah,
for the Eagles.
I just don't remember. Yeah, so like
those
are the events he's not winning.
Here are
my points.
Here are the results of Justin Thomas dating back to his win for starting at the PGA Championship last year when he won to now. First 6th, first 47th, second 17th, first 11th, 22nd, 14th, 17th. Bad run to begin the year for Justin Thomas. 9th, first, second, and 4th last week at the match play. Pretty good run. Incredible. I'm not picking him though.
And I'm not picking him. And I even made the jokes at match play. I wasn't picking him there. You know, he had a hot run. Obviously ran into the Bubs, but I don't know.
Listen, Justin Thomas only made it through the group stage because Luke List broke his putter playing against him.
I don't know. But
although Luke List was 3 down at the point where he broke his putter. So
even in the show you did, getting all the quick hot takes from all our friends in the community, how much Justin Thomas was there?
He was the second most picked player, but it was significantly behind Rose. He was more on the tier of everyone else.
Yeah, it was sort of like Rose and everyone else.
It was Rose, then it was everyone else. So there was like 3 or 4 people who said Thomas, 3 or 4 people who said Tiger, and then it was like 1 or 2 on everyone else. Shout out Mike Leone for having the guts to pick Hideki.
We'll get there.
We will. So at the top, you're still going with Dustin Johnson.
I'm just committed to it. That's where my money is. That's where my numbers have been. That's where I sort of was building these parlays the entire time.
If you didn't have the bets in already,
and fine. 10-1, Dustin Johnson. He fell down the stairs last year. We have a 4th and 6th the year before. I'm frustrated we didn't get a win that wasn't in Hawaii early in the year. I will, much like Ted Potter, I will never forget that Sunday. At Pebble, but yeah, I would still go with Dustin.
So in my Fantasy National custom model, number 1 over the past 24 rounds is Justin Thomas. Dustin Johnson is still number 2. Who's number 3? Oh yeah, number 3, Bryson DeChambeau.
We'll get there.
We'll get there for sure. Then it's Kevin Chappell, then it's Justin Rose.
But are you...
Paul Casey, Rahm, Sergio, Finau, Noren Spieth. Phil is how it rates out for me.
I don't know, like Rory... He loves the fast greens. I don't know.
Yeah, but here's the thing with Rory. He has 4 consecutive top 10s at the Masters.
Are and how in the last 3 of them he's been going for the Grand Slam, and he still finds a way to finish T10.
He is the Matt Kuchar of the Masters. He is not in.
It's such an unfair. Okay, I see
where you're going. All 4 of those times,
are back
he has not been in contention once. He has never had a chance to win the Masters in any of those 4 starts.
But what you're saying,
but Sunday he shoots like 65 and comes.
So what you're saying
10.
is, even if you have to lay like 240 in a head-to-head Sunday, it might be worth playing.
And well, that's one of the great things, and I know Russell Whalen will expand on this a little bit more if people have watched the Millionaire Maker show. Like his pick to win is Pat Perez, and that's his only bet that he's going.
You just said Russell Whalen.
Yeah, NYC punter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just meant people were like, okay, I've never heard of that guy before.
And someone did make the joke like, hey, NYC punter's talking golf. What is he, comparing them to Bitcoins? So he has a Bitcoin pizza party if Pat Perez wins. But his whole point was, I want to go into the week with someone from really long odds and then hit some of these top guys after round 1 if they're not right near the lead. Because let's say, Rose is winning after round 1. And Dustin is 5 strokes back. He's like +1, Rose is -4, something like that. Dustin's not going to be like 50-1, but all of a sudden he's like 22-1.
Well, it's the parlay numbers.
Yeah. You'll take that.
But here's the thing, though, Pat. I mean, sort of like we saw out of the gate in Mexico at the WGC, where Thomas was like insane and he came back. This has a no-cut WGC event feel for this group of players.
Yeah, for people who don't know, top 50 in ties make the cut, and any player within 10 strokes of the leader after 36 holes also make the cut. So the potential for like 60 people to make the cut is very much in play. And with a field of 83 players, and 15 of them are dead money to begin with, a lot of people have been making the cut.
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm going with. So a lot of guys who, get those weekend heaters, I don't know if it'll be enough to win per se, but just I mean, you're waiting on your to make the cut bets.
I should explain that right now for people who don't know. Now, I know this is not available on every book. I use Bet365 for it. I remember last year when Shane Lowry bogeyed out to go +9, missed the cut by a stroke. I had a 14-person to make the cut parlay. He was the last one I needed. He was the last one on the course. He was 9 over for the day, which sucked because that was going to be a huge payday. However, this is the smallest Masters field in quite some time, and I don't think that the books are going to adjust immediately. They'll catch on after people start pounding these to make the cut parlays. I'm not talking bet Dustin Johnson at -1400 to make the cut or Spieth. It's the middle guys. Like, you have to load up on like Noren or Scott and Louis and Hatton and Reed. Hatton would have been a buster last year, but those types of guys, they're all like -250, -300, that type of range, and you can even do like a round robin parlay, how people play like those doubles. You can play like different combinations of 8 if you have enough money to do it, but they will adjust. So as soon as those numbers come out on Monday morning or potentially Sunday night, that's the first thing you need to be looking at because there's the potential. It's one of the least efficient things I've ever seen. I think the first round leader bets in general are fairly inefficient because they allow top 5 each ways, but for this, I think this is the most efficient bet you can make. And the books are, listen, all gambling books are just efficiency odds. That's all they are. They're just trying to find the most efficient odd possible. And they will be out of whack for this because it's not a bet they put up often.
Correct. And on top of that, you see efficiency issues with the regular Masters. You add in the fact that we are, I believe if someone wins their way in Houston, it'll be 86 or 87.
I don't think
the official number.
I saw it was at 83 this morning, so one more would make it 84 because Brooks is technically in, but he's not playing. So there's that. You want to talk about Tiger?
I was waiting for that. The genesis of all of this is, I'd say before Hero in the Bahamas, there were the 100s to 1. And then we saw those reports, right? He played with like Trump and Dustin. And everyone was like, is it bullshit? But everyone was saying like the most incredible things.
Well, in fairness, Trump says most things that he does is incredible. So when he was like, great round from Tiger, looks amazing, it's like, all right.
No, but it wasn't just, that's one that comes to mind. But there are other people that were playing with him. Like even everyone was like very impressed with what they were seeing.
But but it was hard to tell because were they impressed that he wasn't wincing the entire time?
That he was just
So what's that mean to us? It's like, oh great, like he can walk again. Perfect.
So fine. But walking again got it from under 100, I want to say, to like 80. 80. That's where we went at Hero. And then quickly into that Hero in the Bahamas where he showed the scrambling and everything. It dropped like in half instantly into like the 40s and the 35s. Right?
Yep.
And then, with every week just came better play, and it was dropping like 5, 8, 10 points a time every time he showed up.
And then all of a sudden you looked at the live odds and you're like, oh, Tiger's the favorite.
He became the favorite on the front 9 at Bay Hill. On the front 9 at Bay Hill.
I thought it was at Valspar he became in the final round.
He was like code into that. It shot up again. At Valspar is when he got into like he's now ahead of Spieth. Let
me ask you this.
But by the time Arnold ended, Rory got the favorite.
Yeah. Will the books offer Tiger versus these guys in a head-to-head? Because I don't think that they will. But they might give you Tiger versus Phil.
We didn't think that early, though. We didn't think that, say, at Torrey, which was funny. It was Tiger versus Jason Day, and he won the freaking tournament.
And I didn't bet Jason Day that week
because I got the back shit.
I put all my money on Jason Day in that head-to-head.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, exactly.
So I didn't bet him outright.
But I'm just saying. So I don't know. They did at Torrey Pines. They said, "Here's Jason Day." Now Jason Day was sort of like being hated on, and he kind of still is. You can make the case he still is, and we'll get there. I feel like I'm the idiot that would have like the Chargers to win the Super Bowl coming off like 2-14. So why I didn't play the 100 just because he was walking and breathing like hurts me a lot.
Okay, I have 2 questions for you about Tiger. 1, do you think he's going to win?
No.
2, do you think that he can win?
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah.
What's the one club he can't hit since coming back?
Driver.
And what are you going to have to hit off every hole at the Masters?
Every tee. You want to compete with Bubba. You want to compete with Dustin and Justin and Rory. Driver. You got to be hit. You got to have eagle putts because of your driver.
Now, the one thing I'll say is that
I believe he can win.
His driver has been wayward off the tee. Fortunately for him, there's no rough, so that helps.
You're out.
And you can hit into the pine straw. And a long miss to the proper side of the hole to get your attack angle in is far better than just being short.
Absolutely. And as we've seen at Augusta, you said it, there is no rough. I mean, what's a rough? You ever seen a ball buried? I mean, greenside, you can get some gnarly stuff.
The worst thing that can happen is you hit it into the pine straw and a tree's in your way.
Well, no, there are hazards.
There's hazards, but like...
But I'm saying, a live ball in play, yeah, you're behind a tree. It's pine straw or it's beautifully manicured grass.
I'm impressed by his short game. Because remember when he came back like 2 times ago?
That was the worst.
And he couldn't chip anymore? It's like, what the hell was going on?
He was like muffing chips, like we would.
Yes.
Well, the short game, that was the thing that got a lot of people, because when he showed up at the Bahamas, anyone, whether you are like a muni golfer or a pro, like for the most part, they say like short game just comes last. It's the feel, it's the touch, it's the one thing that comes last. But I guess through all his back issues, it was the one thing that he could do. And he has a 3-hole course in his backyard.
I talked about my custom model from Fantasy.
But you don't think he can win? I mean, you asked me that, like I said yes.
I know, I actually do think he can win. I ran the custom model for the past 8 rounds. Tiger ranks 4th. Because it's the putting. Like if he, Phil, Rahm, and Dustin are currently the 2 players right now that rank inside the top 15 in tee to green and putting, which is incredible. But we know that putting can flip, and Tiger hasn't played Augusta in a fair amount of years.
He hasn't played it competitively.
Sure.
Because that jet's been parked. If you follow those private jet, the jet's
Do you have a private jet Instagram that you follow?
No, but
oh my God, no, hold on. Did you see the Instagram that keeps getting shared around every single year about the guy who showed up with the practice badge with his club, thinking he could be playing a practice round? That's what it meant.
I giggled all day.
I don't even know if that's real, but it's pretty fucking hilarious.
I never saw. I don't know how.
I've never seen it either.
But the tour junkies, the Augusta boys, they say like that's real, and every year this thing gets sort of passed around again as lore. And I'm like, I don't know. I've been following this tournament. This has never come across. And yes, it was a guy. They say he's like.
They said he spoke broken
English. Very
English.
broken English. So the comprehension might have been a little.
Maybe he was from Romania.
Who knows? But he had a round for a practice round.
He had a badge for the practice round.
Which are, those are coveted badges. You still have to enter the lotteries and such to get your practice round badges.
Do you think I could get in with this? Golf.
No. And he showed up with his clubs ready to go. Like he's playing.
And a pull card.
Like he's playing in Phil's cash game on Tuesday. It really took me out of my element for quite a bit. I'd have been, they said like people were on the ground like laughing, rolling.
Who has a better chance to win this year's Masters, Tiger or Phil? I think Phil does. And that pains me to say.
I'll just agree with you. I don't want to break that down though.
I actually think Phil is live here. And if I were to bet one of them, which I'm not, I think having Phil at double the odds of Tiger, Phil is not half as likely to win as Tiger is. He's just not.
Tiger's putter, like even at Arnold Palmer, man, everything was just grazing the holes.
Yeah, and then you look at Phil. If we've watched Phil at any tournament so far this season, even at Riviera, when his irons were off and he was like putting from off the fairway, he was just making them. He makes and there's such a confidence with him that I've seen this year and he's been doing it for a lot of years, but he's hitting all these putts now. Like you see Phil get into trouble, and he's on a par 4, and he's in a terrible lie, and he doesn't try to go next to the pin. Like he knows what he can get it to 1 foot with his short game because it's so good. But you see him like take these weird bailouts and leave himself like 17 feet for par because that's the best option that he has. He's not trying to do too much with it. And then he just casually steps it over, par putt in. Like
swagging it.
I don't know if that can sustain itself, but this is where he's at right now.
Yeah, and the one thing we've seen in this Phil this year, which has been, pretty solid everywhere, is he's avoiding the big numbers. And he is putting the ball in play off the tee. And I think your desire to make that pick might come with because you have more confidence right now in Phil's driver than you do Tiger's.
I do. And I just think that he's playing. He's already won. He won a WGC this year.
Here's the thing. Tiger is like a bet. It's like I don't have a Tiger bet, but it's like a bet.
It's a bet because you're personally invested.
It would be just so magnificent. It would. Can you it would be the greatest. Now I'm going to shoot the hyperbole. It would be some of the greatest sports story of our life, but I'm a Tiger fanboy.
You're not alone in being a Tiger fanboy. So, what do you think the ratings for these Masters are going to be?
Higher than Roseanne?
Probably not, in fairness.
I'm joking. Huge.
What does it take? What move? Like, obviously, if Tiger is in one of the final 3 groups on Sunday, do you think it's the highest rated Masters ever?
Yeah, but everything sort of just feels that way. Like, won't Thursday probably be the highest Thursday ever?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on how they gauge it. I don't think the TV coverage will be the highest because we've seen... Listen, Tiger's had a comeback before. And Tiger was very much in it in 2013.
He hit the pin.
He hit the pin, and that was the end.
And then he took the drop, and then people were like...
tried to call him a penalty, got him disqualified.
Well, let's not waste time there. But I was...
But fewer people watch TV now. Like, I'm going to be streaming a lot of the Masters from Masters.org. I don't know. TV ratings are very suspect to begin with anyway. You know, Cust always thought that he used to leave his TV on channels, thinking that would qualify for ratings. So he'd just leave that channel on overnight because he wanted that channel to get great ratings.
I'm not going to lie, though. I'm the opposite. There's a couple personalities that I can't stand on Canadian TV that after, say, a local baseball game,
you'll just turn it off?
I won't. I hear their voice. I don't even want to give them, I don't know, like Tim, I don't want to give them that bump. And I bet you Tim does that too. Because he wouldn't get caught.
Also, not how ratings are measured.
I know, but no, you're not getting the bump from my TV.
But most people, golf fans and like casual observers, it's the Masters. More people will just tune into a Thursday than regular. But when we talk about it growing the audience on Sunday, it needs Tiger, it needs Phil, and having Rory and all those guys around is great, and Spieth, but those guys are there every year on Sunday.
Now, this is something that maybe I should have looked at before we record, and it's something that they talk about with the Super Bowl. But like the Sunday ads are sold.
Yes, but the Sunday ads for next year aren't sold. And if you do 33% better ratings, it looks good all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, that's you're right. Would be all about getting that juice up for future years.
Did you see the television broadcast? Augusta National is finally allowing Pro Tracer. All it took was for Tim to compliment Augusta for not using that fancy Pro Tracer. All of a sudden, 2 weeks later, they got it.
Well, now on like the 18th hole, like you're not going to be able to see the nature. Wasn't that his thing? Like it takes away from nature.
He also said that he can follow the shots off the ball, which is impossible.
But it's also like the person that golf still is gearing towards, you know, like that person who can afford that fancy car.
I don't even agree with that. Who doesn't like Pro Tracer?
No.
Who doesn't like seeing? It's so much fun to watch Bubba on the team.
I agree. No,
you're like, it's going like this.
I'm just making the point. Like, he makes this shit about nature. And I'm sure I back nature.
They pump in the bird sounds.
But my
Those
point,
are real nature.
My point being is that guy that can afford like the the watch in the car that those commercials are and uses the pills that those commercials sell to when you're watching golf, he's never changing to the National Geographic channel for nature. No one's watching for nature, man.
People like that it looks great.
Fantastic.
Hey, listen, people like watching the Players' Championship because they dye the lakes to make them TV ready.
That's great. When I have that, when I'm drinking out of the good glass on Sunday, and we're on the back nine at the Masters, I need Shot Tracer more than ever, man.
Yeah, is that going in the woods?
I need that more than ever.
It's not going to be on every hole, but I think they have it for all of the Amen.
5 holes on the back.
Amen corner in the 17 and 18, I think.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was 17. Maybe it was 16 and 18.
Wouldn't be 16. You wouldn't have the Pro Tracer for the par 3. So they might not have it for 12
It's
either.
5 holes.
And it's probably not 12. It's probably 11. It's probably 10, 11, 13. Now, it's probably 13 and 15 because they're both par
15.
5s.
For sure.
I want to play a fun game with you here before we get back to the... Actually, let's finish off the high-end guys. We didn't talk about Jason Day. Jason Day right now, if you look at his stats, putting the lights out. But even when he won Torrey, and I know one of the rounds wasn't measured by Shot Tracker because at Torrey Pines North, they don't have it. They only have it at the South Course. But he's not hitting his irons at all. He's only doing well because he's putting well. And that worries me here.
Doesn't seem sustainable for him.
He's a great putter, which is fine. But if he's not ball striking, to an elite level. He's not going to win this week.
I will say this, though. I feel like I'm not on it. I feel like the number's a bit of a disrespect. And you kind of said it.
It's going to drop, too. This is one of the numbers.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to bet Jason Day right now, don't bet that 18. Bet the 22 or 25 next week.
Phil will have like a T6 in Houston or something, and he'll be shorter than Day on Monday morning, Sunday night. You're probably right about that. Normally, like you joked, though, normally the week of majors, Jason Day is getting respect.
People don't like Jason Day. He's sort of like Justin
You
Thomas.
said it.
But he always plays better when people just forget about him.
But you said it a couple weeks ago. It was a great line. The only time Jason Day gets actual respect is the week after he wins.
Yeah.
Other than that, whether it's his line or golf tout narrative, it never seems to get the respect he deserves. That being said, I'm not betting him.
Is there a number he could drop to where you would bet him? Because he's a guy that if no one bets him, the books will push his number back down.
Yeah.
25, would you bet him? Would you rather
Who
bet?
do you think has a better chance, him or Sergio?
Sergio.
Me too. And I'm sitting on some of that. So I don't know. Like, obviously, there's always a number. But, see, that's silly. Because when you're betting, like, sports, normally, for the most part, you should be betting a number and not the teams. There should always be a number in a head-to-head sporting game.
No, I disagree. I disagree. I think that the number is more important. The value is more important. But I even talk about this on the DraftKings show. People are like, oh, well, if Justin Rose is going to be 45% owned, you should definitely fade him. And, you know, if you think that Justin Rose is going to win, there is no ownership high enough where you shouldn't take him. Because if he wins, you're going to want to have him. If there's someone you think who is going to win, even if it's a bad number, you bet it because you think they're going to win.
I don't want to say like every sport because football's different, but like a sport like baseball, in my opinion, there should be like a number that could get you to bet any side of a baseball game. Even if it's two elite pitchers.
There's a reason I bet Siwoo Kim every week because the number is so hilarious.
Okay, with golf, like you could say, like, is there a number? Like, if I don't think the guy's gonna win, sometimes there's no number.
But we talked about this with Cuss when he proclaimed that Jordan Spieth had a 0% chance of winning the Masters.
He's an insane person.
And you said, let's say, hey, I'll give you 100 to 1 on Jordan Spieth. Will you take that? No.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna win.
Or if you're
like that's kind of insane.
Or if you're like, hey Tim, like you can have one of to win only Jason Duffner or Jordan Spieth. You'd be like, well, since Spieth has a 0% chance, I'm going to take Duffner, and he would like pretend to be serious.
He would be serious. That's the real insane part of it all.
I don't know. Did we?
The last guy I want to talk about, and he's going to be one of my core players that I'm going to be heavily overweight on in the DraftKings Millionaire Maker. I won't bet him, but I just think that he's one of the players that no one's going to use. Is John Rahm.
Being forgotten about.
Just no, there's no John Rahm buzz right now. And the number's too short. I think that's another number that falls back too. He's at 20 to 1 right now. I could see that going to 25 or 28.
I could see myself betting that.
I could be talked into
if
it's between like Rahm at 28 and Hideki at 35. I think I'd take Rahm.
I'm going to be honest. And with the Masters, like for the most part, most of my exposure like has been in for like weeks.
Well, yes and no. Like I've just played the back end of the field so much that I have moves at the top because I really wanted to wait to make that
between
move.
like big parlay numbers that came with like football bets in the fall and like betting bigger numbers like early in the year, like a Fleetwood 80, for example. Like I have my investment is for the most part in, but like you, like without having shelled out anything out of hand recently, like I'll happily get it on a top guy next week.
The last guys in this range, we talked about Fowler.
Did we talk about Fowler?
No, Fowler, Casey, Bubba's 16 to 1, and Sergio is 25 to 1, and that is your entire collection of the sub 25 to 1 players.
You start with Bubba.
Is Bubba a sucker bet now? I have him at 50 to 1, so I'd be very happy if he won. I'm not going to lie to you. And I made that bet the morning before he won Riviera. The people who were real smart were the people that bet that number and parlayed it with him to win Riviera and now have like 100 to 1 on it, which is fantastic.
Because he was like plus 250.
So he'd be like almost 150 to 1 to win the Masters.
There are a lot of those.
But I'm happy with my 50 number. And listen, Bubba won. He opened at 50 to 1 at the Genesis, and he won. He was 50 to 1 at the match play. He won. I got him at 50 to 1 to win the Masters. He's probably going to win. At least my bank account hope he does.
And a little narrative. Well, he needs Surrey to win in Houston so they can play together. And then Bubba's won both times he's played with Surrey.
Really?
Yeah. No, okay, let's get serious for a second.
Who has a better chance to win, Bubba or Casey? I think it's Bubba.
I would say Bubba, because before you got in the way there, like, I know it's off a win, it's like it's so easy to just shower the praise. But everything you said going into match play that you liked about him at match play, like, you saw tenfold. His shot shaping off the tee, his creativity that Augusta requires with some chip shots, his putting, that 3-putt avoidance. I don't know if he 3-putted in a single match. He made a couple bogeys, sure, but it's because he left himself, didn't get out of a bunker that great, and, he missed a 12-foot par putt. It wasn't like he 3-putted from 50 feet. I didn't see that once.
He wasn't Alex Noren.
And we saw a few guys getting some putting issues, not once. Even like when Herman's dropping a 20-foot eagle behind him, he's still hitting. Harmon.
Oh, I thought you said Herman.
Sorry.
I don't think Jim Herman was in that.
No, you're right. Like, I just saw so much that, like, makes you think he is not going to stop playing well. But the number, in many ways, feels unbettable.
It was one of those things where you had to get it in on it early. If you're making one bet and your only bet is Bubba Watson, I'm not going to say anything against you. I can definitely see him winning, but I'm not going to bet it at 16-1. And that's not just because I have a 50-1 number on him. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't be betting Bubba at 16-1. But that's one of those things where the number dictated the bet.
But I wouldn't argue if someone thought he should be the favorite. Or not should be the favorite, but if he was there, like...
That's what I'm saying. If you make one bet of any of the top guys and your pick is Bubba Watson, it's hard to disagree with it. Now, if you said it was Rory, it's hard to disagree with that too. Everyone is just playing so well. So I guess my question is, with all the best players playing so well, doesn't this seem like a year some weirdo's going to win?
Well, that's what Russell's been saying. Sorry, NYC punter. And I guess, he wants that deep number to catch. But you kind of get... I go back and forth. We're like, there's no way a super elite can win. And, like, this is setting up so well for, like, I don't know, Francesco to just ruin the party.
The lowest rated Masters ever. The final grouping of Brendan Grace and Francesco Molinari. Followed by Martin Keimer and Russell Henley.
It's impossible. It's impossible Sunday won't be fire.
Fowler. Give me your spiel on Fowler because you have a lot invested in him right now.
Oh, my God. I can only hope things are going well in Houston. As we're talking, I came into the season so high on Ricky. Pretty much taking everything statistically from last year, rolling it over. And then he goes out and has that, like... shoots like a 26 on a 9 at the Hero, and you're like, it's actually like, it's going to happen. I don't know, he couldn't win. When he couldn't close in Phoenix, that was a scary, scary sign to me. Personally, I've been invested in him since American Thanksgiving in parlays. He would probably return the most for me. I believe he will break through much the same I believe Dustin would. I don't know if it would be this week, though. Statistically, he still rates out pretty well. His putters abandoned him a bit. But I would just say that
in the past 24 rounds, in the model that I've ran for myself with my custom stats, and you can find my power rankings up on my Facebook page, Ricky Fowler 37th in this field over the past 24 rounds. That puts him 41st in birdies or better, 33rd in ball striking, 48th in par 5 scoring. Like, he's not inside the top 25 in anything besides par 4 scoring, and he's 15th. That's troublesome, man. And Ricky's good enough that can flip.
I can't.
But I just don't see it.
I can't condone it.
With all the other top players playing so well, and Ricky, who barely can win anyway, you're just thinking that he's going to break through? If you didn't have the money on him to begin with, would you bet it?
I couldn't condone. No, I couldn't even condone it this week.
So you just have faith. You're like George Michael.
I've just fanboyed myself to him, and if anyone at Christmas I thought would drift properly for me, I thought he'd come in here with maybe 2 wins. And maybe that's like me. People like, you're an idiot. Like, I don't know. I thought Phoenix. I thought Honda. I thought there was spot after spot for him to come through. And all he does is just play well and have shitty closes on Saturdays.
Should we not bet anyone and just bet Paul Casey to come inside the top 10?
That might if you put
It's probably
your
the safest.
entire
Three straight top 10s at Augusta. This is the best he's playing. Watch him miss the cut. Just screw everyone because he's going to be one of the highest owned DraftKings guys too.
The funny thing is though, like if Ricky finishes like third in Houston, his odds are going to like go down to 15-1.
Yeah, 16-1, I would say. If he wins Houston, then he'll be back up to like 14-12. But
and if he shits the bed in Houston,
20,
you're thinking that
20,
Rahm drift.
Yeah, I think, well, Rahm's not playing, so he's going to drift regardless. And Rahm hasn't won since...
Is there a number you'd bet Ricky at?
No.
Would you bet Ricky at 28?
No, I wouldn't bet Ricky at 28 because I'm really eyeing this Hideki number. I know he's coming off the wrist. I know that he hasn't looked good since coming back, whether it be at Bay Hill or the match play. But 35 is just it's an unfair number for Hideki.
There's some places posting 40. And I got something south of 50 because I put him with some March Madness chalk on those first couple of days.
But I don't have a ton of confidence.
No, I do.
I have more confidence that he can win than Ricky can.
I just have more confidence on Sunday Ricky might hit that putt. I'll say this.
I have more confidence that Hideki won't need to hit that putt because he'd be winning by too much already.
Okay, fine.
We've seen Hideki close. He has more wins than Ricky Fowler does.
My only concern with Hideki, and this might be silly because I'm like making it up as with my psychology major from the University of Western. Like he broke down after the PGA Championship. Like he was tearing behind the cabin.
He should have won.
I know. So he wears it all. Like he wears it all for Japan, for Asian golf. He wears it all. And maybe unfairly for himself, he puts it all on himself. And the standard he sets for himself is so high that you're right. I hope he's up by 2 and he could bogey out that last hole or par it out. But the number is insane. 35-1. This is a guy that in Masters Pass we'd have condoned at 20, 22.
I bet him last year at 30.
The year Willett won.
Yeah, he was.
We had the ticket, and all my buddies, who played the card Sunday morning, he was the guy that like we thought, okay, who's gonna get Spieth? Decky. Decky's getting him for us. In the end,
and then the guy who was 8 times the odds ended up doing it for us.
So I mean, and there could even be more drift with Hideki.
Yeah, because again, he's not.
Because I did a hit yesterday, and Buddy told me he was looking at a 40.
Where at?
I'm not sure.
I looked at 365 this morning, and I looked at Bodog this morning, and he was still 30-35.
Yeah. It's
so we might as well close with the other 2 under 40 guys then from this range. Sergio 25, and the guy who I think is going to be an excellent DraftKings play. I don't know if I can bet him because it's a number that will drift again too. Everyone's favorite pick to win 6 weeks ago. No one cares about Tommy Fleetwood anymore.
Tommy! Got you at 80 at Tommy! I cheered him on.
I know.
At Honda. Yeah, that was probably about, a month out?
He's going to be 50-1 to open on Monday. That 40 number.
Good. So everyone that missed those big numbers can still catch something. Won't be what it was, but there's still a number here to be caught. I don't know. I love the pick. I love the guy.
Sergio at 25?
Love it.
You bet Sergio at 25?
No, there were 50s.
There was a 50. And I think in some like Vegas actual casinos, there's still like decent Sergio numbers somehow too.
The guy that runs like Westgate or like golf, he's sweet. Like I'm not getting any Sergio action. He was like amazed. He put it out there like an APB, like come bet Sergio at my book.
Please come bet Sergio. Yeah. I'm begging you.
He's been striking it. He's been killing it.
He really has been, and he's
been
everything besides putting, which is what you would expect from Sergio. And as we've seen with Augusta over the years, you don't need to be the best putter on tour to win.
Yeah.
You just need to have a decent week with the putter and just get to the green. And that's what Sergio did last year. That's what Rose did last year. Bubba Watson's won. Adam Scott has won the Masters. Like, let's be real here.
He's got the baby swag.
That he does.
Does Sergio.
Named his daughter after the course.
Yep. And I guess the only thing, if you're like want to find something to throw shade at.
No repeat winner since Tiger like 18 years ago.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, do you see Sergio kind of, like just off the, I mean, he's playing with the glow. You kind of saw it at match play, and he's going to a course he's very comfortable with. So he could just step on and just ride the form that he's been playing. But there's a lot demanded of Sergio this week. on the Monday through Wednesday.
He has to set that menu.
That's
going to be rough. He can't make Tiger fried chicken jokes anymore now that he's a Masters champion. Everyone, that was the big thing with Sergio.
Well, it's just so funny, like with Tiger. Like, let's say this weekend or at any point Tiger got paired with like Phil or Sergio. It wouldn't feel anything. It would feel awesome, like for golf fans, but the animosity, like I feel like, is gone, like with everybody.
I think he still has it for Phil.
Tiger. Okay, I want.
And I don't even think that they dislike each other. I think that, but when they're on the course, like Tiger's so buddy with everyone now. Like, even when he was playing with Sam Burns, he was, like, giving Sam
but
Sam
that's
Burns...
3.0. Like, that's 3.0.
But I think that you'll see... I don't know if the vintage Tiger game will come along with it, but the vintage Tiger intensity will be ratcheted up if he plays with Phil.
I don't think we're going to see him, Sam Burnsing up anybody at Augusta.
But there's a lighter version of Tiger.
There is, because as we say, like, he's friends with all these guys, but even Justin Thomas acknowledged a couple weeks back, like, he's no longer getting, like, congratulatory texts from Tiger.
Because Tiger's back in to win.
He's back. He's a competitor. Like, right? Like, when Tiger was off, like, they would communicate, like, great job. Like, Tiger's not just, like, glad-handing, pumping a rival's tires anymore, like he would have. Or like he was. Maintaining all those relationships.
Who do you think Tiger has an effect on? Of the top players? Because the Tiger effect used to be a legitimate thing that people would just get too rattled to play with him.
I want to say, I think
it's Rory.
Well, Rory admitted it.
Yeah, like I think Rory's the one. Rory's the one who gets the most rattled playing with Tiger.
And a lot of guys like play with Tiger, they don't have the best days. Rory pretty much came out and said it's like costing me a stroke and a half.
But it seems like
whatever he said.
It seems like I don't feel like Spieth or Thomas would be effective.
And I know. I mean, this might be just reading into.
We are just
comment,
reading.
And I'm just because Fowler on Faraday, Faraday does a new thing now. It's sort of like
the little round table.
Yeah,
I like
those one-on-ones. So we had
I liked it the other day. They had
Perez, Horschel, and Kisner, a couple good old boys.
Yeah, two players that have appeared on the Tour Junkies podcast. By the way, they get they do the Tour Junkies. That's the first step to getting on Faraday.
I love that. So in one of the previous ones, I guess the round table, it was like Jack Nicklaus and Ricky, and it's funny how Ricky gets even.
They want him to be
like,
the number one player in the world
so we're gonna have
so
an active,
badly.
hot young player with the greatest player of all time. Oh, Ricky Fowler.
Yeah. It's three generations of greatness. Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and Ricky Fowler. Wearing neon pink.
It is so true. Nonetheless, those quick hitter questions, it was asked like who brings out, like who makes you better, and Fowler said Tiger. So
that's interesting. Okay, so before we get to the rest of the field, we're not going to break down everyone. We'll talk about the guys that we like, and we'll come back and finalize the picks and do some more research over the weekend back on Monday as well, after everyone gets back from, the holiday weekend. Optimal final 5 pairings. I want to do this. On Sunday, you get to set it. And you don't need to say what the scores are, but you assume that they're close to each other because they're playing together.
But this is like all betting related.
It can be betting and viewing related because I don't have money on Tiger. I wouldn't mind to see Tiger in the final group. I think the number one, I'll say that's where I'm going to pencil. I'll put Tiger and Phil into the third to last group playing with each other. That's good for TV too, because then we're not just waiting around for them to do stuff. I'd say I want to put Spieth or Jason Day into the final group, but I don't have like 80 hours to spend watching this, so like let's speed it up here a little bit. So who would be the best final group? I'm going to say, I'll even throw Spieth in it. I'll put Spieth. I think Spieth Sergio would be a nice final group.
I don't know how to play.
Just what you would enjoy to watch.
Reed and DJ.
Reed and DJ in the second to final group.
Yes,
so Spieth and Sergio, Reed and DJ, Tiger and Phil. I'll have my super bomb category. I want Pat Perez and Kevin Chappell to be in the fourth to final group.
That would be a fantastic group. And even if like Fleetwood and Norin want to like
Fleetwood and Norin would be nice. Let's get DeChambeau and Rory together too.
Got no problems with that.
So, sorry, Justin Rose and all you Justin Rose backers. You're out of here. You missed the cut.
We said Sergio, right?
I put Sergio with Spieth.
I like that.
Sergio, Spieth, Reed, DJ. Although, Reed, you know what? I'm changing that. Spieth, Reed would be the best. I'll put Rahm and DJ together. Tiger and Phil.
You don't want to get like longer or couples in there?
I don't, no. I can't. Listen, I appreciate that Bernhard Langer is very good, but if I have to sit through every commercial break and every like preamble to the final round being like, Bernhard Langer is 79 years old and he's won 387 times on the Champions Tour and he's in third place. He's probably gonna win. They're like, there's like 8 different 5-minute featurettes on fucking Bernhard Langer. It's like, yeah, he's not gonna win. Sorry to tell you.
Yeah.
Makes me mad. I wonder who would they be this year. Fred Couples got into it, I guess. You just hear nothing but Freddie stuff. But the score, the wind and water would have to be so bad for those. Like when Langer was competing, it was that year with Willett and Spieth, wasn't it? Was that?
Probably. I don't know. He's been competing so much.
Yeah, but that was the year that he was like in like the third to final group, whatever. He played with like Kelson or whoever it was. What happened to Kelson? Why isn't Kelson in the field? What happened to that guy?
Hasn't won.
He cashed us a nice one.
He won with Olesen at the Denmark
like World,
the Team World thing.
So those would be my groups. Anyone else you want to throw in there?
Not here either. No. I don't know. Those hypothetical games.
I'll take like an Adam Scott Louis. I don't mind that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't even mind like seeing Bubba. I don't know, but
I mean, for like monetary value, I'll have Siwoo Kim in the final group. How about that? That'd be nice. Doesn't take a whole lot to win a ton of money on Siwoo. All right, guys from down the field. Who are you looking at? So bets that I have in place. I have bet Adam Scott on top 8 each way. So half allocated to the win, half allocated to the each way at 66 to 1. I also have him as an outright at 50 to 1 as well. When I think about guys like Sergio down in that range, Paul Casey is 22 to 1. These guys are no different than Adam Scott. Adam Scott is still striking the ball incredibly well. It just turns out he can't putt. Big shocker. Those guys couldn't putt either, and they won. So if you're going to give me triple the odds on Adam Scott, a former Masters champion, remember Adam Scott at this tournament last year? He stuck everything to 5 feet. He just didn't make a putt. And the ball striking is at exactly the same level. We bet Adam Scott to win this tournament at like 16 to 1 2 years ago. Now, he had come in with 2 straight wins in Florida, but still.
First time I ever won a major bet was his Masters one.
Really?
Yeah, I was really bad, I guess, before that. Just couldn't win majors.
And then you went through your drought until you hit DJ. Now you're just winning all the time.
No, Willett was before DJ.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Nonetheless, yeah, this one was 50 a couple weeks ago. It continued to drift. We kind of talked about it then. Not to the extent of Phil and Bubba, but we are seeing better golf.
Yes.
Like you have mentioned it. Not to like the but this is where, you know, Bubba was before he finally cracked, and he cracked a couple times in a big way. But
in the past 24 rounds, remember Scott took like 4 months off between like November and coming back.
And then
to
he
Pebble
went
Beach.
to the Australian PGA and couldn't even make the cut versus like...
He was chilling in Australia is what he was up to. But since he's come back, the past 24 rounds he's played measured on tour, he has first in this field in greens and regulation gain, 9th tee to green, 7th in driving distance, 12th around the green, 14th off the tee. He's close. He just needs an average putting lead. He's second last in this field in putting. But hey, putting can flip, especially when you know these greens. Because we talk about all the time, like the first-time players never win. There hasn't been a first-time winner since Fuzzy Zoeller in 1979. It's my belief that the big reason for that is you need to know the breaks. You need to understand where you can miss. You need to know. There's a reason Fred Couples can hit a worm burner down the fairway, play it off this random hill, and get it to 10 feet every time. He knows where to hit it. You need to know where to leave yourself with your short game. Adam Scott does know those things. So I'm not confident that he's going to win, but I think that 66 to 1 or potentially 70 to 1, if it's out there, is just too low. So I'm in.
The guys in this range that I do have money on, although the number that I have tickets on, although the numbers are bigger and it's all the same, is Fleetwood, Noren, and Hatton. Fleetwood and Noren are at 80 and Hatton at 100.
Those are good numbers.
Those are in. I like them. I know Hatton missed the cut last year. Noren, I had a 300 to 1 ticket here last year. I don't think he played well at all. He was a
debutant.
He was a debutant. I don't know. A lot of people bringing up how he seems to get yippy in contention.
Oh, really? You didn't see him trying to putt in that playoff against Kisner? He put it off the green. It was like a 10-foot putt.
I don't know. To me, he's got that intestinal fortitude.
We've seen it in Europe. We have yet to see it in America. Maybe he's the new Louis.
You got to give...
I got to give him time, sure. And I do think he's an excellent player, but I would have...
And he's an excellent putter.
Except for when it matters, man.
Well, it mattered all, Matt. Just, I don't know. Something happened there.
I would think that Fleetwood...
I was praying to God.
I would think that Fleetwood is the better bet than Noren. It was.
I'm so excited for both of them next week. And Hatton too. I know people like to hate on him.
I like Hatton number's going to drift a little bit too.
Hatton can get back to like that 80, right? Yeah. Because I'm seeing him.
And he had his debut last year and was awful, and especially in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's a 55 on 365, but I'm seeing him as high as like 60, and there's no reason to think next week he doesn't flirt over 70. And I can't wait for Jordan Spieth to miss a putt, act like a little bitch. The announcers say nothing. Hatton to miss a putt. The announcers go off on him for doing the exact same thing. Can't wait to watch that.
Or how about Justin Thomas swearing after every putt, offending Tim Andercust? No need for that type of language on the links.
No, everyone's on their behavior here.
It's true. It'd be funny if someone wasn't. Pat Perez is just like crushing beers.
No, I mean the patrons.
Oh yes, the patrons. They go like it's like Arrested Development when you go to the Milford School. You shall neither be seen nor heard.
Have you seen like the insane crackdown that they've pulled with the resale on the tickets?
Yes, good.
Except
it's hard to get those tickets.
No, I know, but what if like you couldn't and you like, you book like a super trip and you pay the like I don't know. I feel horrible for some of those people.
Yes, it should be instituted next year.
I do agree. It's great on Augusta and the club and the Masters for sort of really clamping down, and people who enter that lottery should be the people who go, and that's what it's for. I have no issue with that. But I feel bad for anybody that booked travel. And I mean, you don't just go to the Masters. There's nowhere to stay. I mean, there's like a Hooters parking lot and a Red Roof Inn.
I had David on Wednesday, and he mentioned like he rents his house out during the Masters and goes stays with his parents.
Genius.
He said there's like a communal Airbnb that they've had for a long time in Augusta to rent out your houses to people coming in. You just kind of either go and stay somewhere else or all stay together or just bugger off for the weekend.
It's a whole little marketplace that you guys broke down, and it is very real. Look forward to experiencing it one day, but
we'll go together someday, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, I can't wait. Don't worry. I'll just clap and wave. No, like people like you see, like you can't go to the Masters. Like I would never act how I acted at the Honda at the Masters. It's kind of just like my point.
Yes, that's all. And people don't. You would be ejected immediately.
No, I wouldn't even cross my mind.
No, like but you would also be ejected immediately.
Yeah,
you would never be allowed back.
No, yeah, but I'm just saying, it wouldn't even cross my mind to like do that.
Yeah, it's like when I went to Phoenix for the Waste Management. I was just yelling the entire time, and there was people having fist fights in the crowd, and it wasn't just one. People yelling at the golfers on the tee. So I'm in already on Scott. The other guys that I'm in on already, like I mentioned, Pat Perez, 150-1. Kevin Chappell, I got him at 125. Then he dropped to 150 and I hit it again. He's back down to 125-1. I'm not too concerned about the back problems with him. I mentioned Bubba at 50. I got Spieth at those 28 numbers. Siwoo Kim at 275-1. But there is one guy I do want to talk about before we get out of here. Bryson DeChambeau, man. I mentioned he's number 3 in my custom stat model. And hey, if the stats like Bryson, Bryson likes himself some Bryson. He looked good when he was the amateur here. And he was playing in a pressure group. He made that one triple bogey on Friday, and he was like up near the lead. He has 2 top 5 finishes in his past 4 starts. He's made 4 consecutive cuts, and he putts better on bent than anywhere else. And his one win did come on bent. And T. Green, man, the guy's lights out. He's the best par 5 scorer in the field. I don't like Bryson, but he's 80-1 right now. Do you think I should let that number drift? Because I think that sharp people are going to be on Bryson. I think the books already see it. I mean, why is he 80-1?
You just mentioning the fact that he's 80-1, I don't know if you could take any more chances because it will happen. Like the books or the sharps will identify a guy or two, and their numbers will sort of plummet. Just as a joke, the week Will it won. I mean, we had those big numbers. We condoned him. I think that he
was like
went
40.
off at 66 or
like 40 or 50 or something.
When we recorded our Monday, he was a 66. I don't know what he finished that week off, and people were still betting that then. I think maybe you got to do a fractional bet then at this 80, and then take your chance if it's 66 at 66.
Hit it again.
You hit it again. If it goes up to 100, you hit it again. But I really think it could drop because the fact that he's sitting at 80, surrounded by guys that were once, he's in that range. Like he was 150.
Yeah, he's the same odds as Scheifele, but like Webb is 150. Kisner, coming off a place where everyone just saw him, is 100.
No, something is up there.
Yes.
So like the books are on to him. While they're sleeping on quite a few people, it seems like they're on to him. And as you pointed out, that Chapeau, could be onto something.
You know what it is?
The calculator's tuned in.
Very jaunty.
If there's one place for a jaunty chapeau to win the tournament,
I would think the Open Championship would probably be the best spot.
Sorry, yeah.
But still,
I'll take that back. The calculator is working.
You got new batteries or something, man.
Whatever is making that thing tick, it is ticking properly right now. I got nothing bad to say about that.
So those are my guys.
The Perez big boy I have, the Chappie big boy I have. Got like a Barn Rat 220.
And I have those each weighed to the top 8 as well.
I wish I did.
It's only 1/5. Normally the each ways work, you get 1/4 the bet for a top 5. This time you get 1/5 the bet, but for top 8. But when you see like the top 10 odds come out, it'll still be worse than, like significantly worse than the top 8, 1/5 each way of the overall number. So if you sacrifice 2 spots to the top 10, you're still going to get better odds on the top 8 by playing the each way anyway.
But you also kind of have to get,
guys that I'm considering that I want to take from down the list.
Well, can I just mention there's 2 people.
Patrick Reed?
I got to talk about him.
Okay.
He is one of the few players whose line I think has gotten worse in the last couple of weeks.
Which is strange because he's playing well.
No, sorry. By worse, I mean shorter.
It's not that much shorter.
I think it was in the 60s. I think it was like 60, 55. Now I'm seeing it at the 45, 50.
Yeah.
He's just been showing form. His short game, which kind of has been his bread and butter, which had really abandoned him. He has mentioned key is that he's finally got his bag dialed in. And I don't know, maybe we underrate that stuff, but to these guys to finally feel comfortable with your setup after equipment changes is very important because he did used to roll all those Callaway clubs. He's led Augusta State to 2 titles. The Augusta State boy,
there's a lot of narrative around him. The one thing, and I know it's not. Listen, Jordan Spieth has won the Masters. Zach Johnson has won the Masters.
Do you want to know something? Years ago, before Jordan Spieth won his first one, I was like, Jordan Spieth's like 10-1. Patrick Reed's like 100.
I said the same thing.
They're the same guy.
They're the same player.
Just the same chance of winning. Clearly, the years have shown one guy can win at a much better rate in bigger events than the other. But once upon a time, I thought they were talented, fair, maybe not equal, but not for one to be like 100 and the other to be like 15. Wrong.
When in doubt, and I have like a tiebreaker between guys, I'm going to lean on driving distance.
Yeah.
And off the tee game. And just that's still the one part that Reed doesn't have. If I'm going to criticize Tiger because he can't hit his driver, Reed's lack of length and bad driver is not going to help him.
Yep. No, that's sort of... Okay, well, another guy that doesn't really have the distance, but a few weeks ago he was crushing 100-1, and I don't know what he's half that now.
Who?
Matt Kuchar.
I don't know what to do with Kuchar, man. Bet him top 10 if you want to. He's not going to win. Maybe although I will say there is a theory in place that that I've seen the trend that the week after people are Andercursed, they tend to play super well. He's Andercursed for the shell. So there's 3 players coming in.
Shell.
Sorry, I keep saying shell.
I know.
Someone pointed out that the best move that Shell ever did was stop sponsoring this tournament because everyone just calls it Shell anyway.
I pointed out that it's a shame they didn't get a sponsor after
It's going to move in the schedule.
Yeah, and the local Houston floods and stuff, how they couldn't get a corporate sponsor for this week this year. And then, it's like, well, everyone's calling it Shell anyway, so genius move. They save the money, and it's still the Shell Houston Open.
And even Paul said when we were trying to find like pictures for it to put in the graphics and everything like that, everything has the Shell logo in the background. Everything. They did a really good job of marketing that. Who was I going to say?
Schauffele, Berger.
No, Schauffele's a first-timer. Finau's a first-timer. I wish Charles was just playing.
Can I bet 2019 Masters Patrick Cantlay?
Potentially. Is he going to be better out of the bunkers in a year?
But
because he can hit every green in regulation, then it's fine. Then he could actually win this year. But if he doesn't, it's going to be a problem. He cropped up at the match play.
One of my favorite things, though, from your little piece with the Tour Junkies and just Augusta and being a caddy there was he's like, I've seen 80-year-old guys that play, for chills at the Masters get out of these bunkers no problem. So I feel like that also hurts Ricky Fowler if bunkers aren't a premium. But they're always a premium.
So the 3 guys that are anti-Andercursed coming into this weekend, by the way, Adam Scott, Matt Kuchar, and Ricky Fowler. Actually, it wouldn't be Ricky Fowler anymore.
You took Ricky in Mexico.
That's right.
And that's like Ricky has all those stats.
Spieth is very undercursed.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess like he's acknowledged he's taking Tiger, right?
He's faking it. Tim will be on Monday's show. For people are asking me like, where's Cust? Where's Cust? Me and you will be back. and Cust will be on Monday's show. And he's going to make this case for Tiger, and he doesn't believe it. And like Teddy and Memento, don't believe his lies. He is just in the tank for Phil so badly. And he's starting to believe the curse because he won't say it. That's why he's trying to pick Tiger, who he hates. He was sending me like negative Tiger tweets last night because some golf writer was tweeting negative things about Tiger. He's like, oh, look at this hero.
Because a book just came out. So Tim's probably got he's going to have a bunch of fresh material for us on Monday.
Oh, that'll be good. I'm going to be hanging out with him all weekend at the wedding. So.
Yeah, because of this book. That's already been
We'll talk about the players that we didn't talk about. It doesn't mean that we don't like them or aren't going to cover them, but we'll talk about them. We'll talk about them in the prop section and that kind of thing. There is one more 40-1 guy that I totally spaced on. I'm not betting him because he just doesn't play well. No, you have to look farther down that list because his DraftKings price is ridiculous. Henrik Stenson. He's 40-1. If he plays well at Houston,
form is on.
He's going to go up. Yeah. I don't see it for him here. There's something about this course that has his number. He'll come top 20, won't come top 10.
So a month ago, I played Alex Noren at 80-1 in Vegas at a casino. You see the sheet and you're like, holy shit, I hope that's real. It was real. But when I tweeted out that sheet, Pat, the most comments I got was an odd on that sheet that was just preposterous. It was Charlie Hoffman, 30-1. So, I don't know. I guess if you're in Vegas, I don't know what makes some of those things, tick. Or I don't know.
Charlie Hoffman's a Vegas guy, though, I believe.
Okay, so one of his buddies came in and
the locals are coming in.
And what, he FRL'd last year.
Oh, yeah. We cashed out at 66 right quick. Got me up for the week before it started.
That was amazing.
He's 100-1 now. Hao Tong, will he fulfill the destiny of Danny Willett winning the Omega and then winning? And Sergio Garcia winning the Omega and then winning. Hao Tong Lee won the Omega. Is he going to win the Masters?
No.
Okay. Good to know.
No.
There's one other...
I could see Hao Tong literally there, taking pictures.
I think he'll be fine. He can make the cut here. One more circle, and I'm looking at it more, I think, from a top 10. I want to see what the top 10 odds are before I make any top 10 bets. And we'll do those on Monday's show as well.
Is this Xander?
No, it's not Xander. I'm not betting a first-timer. It's Hadwin.
Played good last year, well here after the wedding.
And it had a bad first, I remember...
He got winded off.
No, I was watching him play in the first round. I think he was 6 or 7 over after the first round. He could not putt. He just couldn't figure out the greens. And Adam Hadwin, well, he's not putting well this year. He's actually having a very Spiethian type year. Tee to green, he's kind of lights out. He doesn't hit it the longest, which is somewhat problematic. The irons and short game are awesome. But he hasn't finished outside the top 20 in putting in any of the past 2 years. He is a really good putter. And he seemed like after the first round last year, he figured out these greens, and then he made a little bit of a run on the weekend. So in a debut appearance, he had a really nice finish. He's 125-1, which means that his top 10 odds are probably going to be 12-1, 16-1. And if you're a billionaire, you might want to throw down some cash on Adam Hadwin low Canadian at minus 10 trillion against Mike Weir.
Oh, there couldn't even be a number for that. Yeah, I like Hadwin. Hadwin in a lot of the DraftKings lineups I've been building has found his way into them. Well, I was originally hoping he might be a little cheaper. Sometimes it works out, maybe a little more, maybe
it keeps
less,
people off.
Yeah, it keeps people off a little.
That's what's happening.
Bryson's going to be hyper popular now. Right?
Yeah, especially because Chappell hurt his back. Because Chappell would have been.
Yeah, and Steele in that range, I think people are going to gravitate.
Yeah, well, Steele's just very consistent. But it's the same thing that's happening with Rahm right now. Is that everyone is taking Rose and Casey at 92 and 88, so no one's taking Rahm at 93, and everyone's taking Bubba, so no one's taking Sergio or Fleetwood.
I saw the tweet last night, and I wish I could remember it. I can remember 4. It was out of Vegas. It was a book saying these are the most money we've taken on golfers. And to no surprise, in no particular order.
Tiger, Phil.
You could probably guess the next two within 3 guesses.
Bubba.
No.
I guess that would be money, late
Total money. Like
Justin Rose.
Yes.
And...
Come on, we made the joke. Like, gets to be on Faraday beside Jack Nicklaus.
Oh, Ricky. Really?
Yeah.
I just would not have thought that.
Yeah.
It's just because I don't... I bet on Ricky like twice a year, and it never works out.
Well, yeah, and you are just so into it that you don't care for the commercial that makes Ricky look like a superstar.
Yes.
When he isn't. That goes over your head. There are some people, maybe even me, that commercial still resonates to somehow.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. And like I said, enjoy the shows. The Masters Millionaire Maker show is almost 2.5 hours long. So if you have some travel to do this weekend, something to check on. But from the very top end of the top 10 guys, my lean right now, and I'm going to gamble on those odds and maybe try to parlay the number up with a head-to-head on the weekend that I like or something like that, or something that I like on the weekend. But I will be betting. I have bet Jordan Spieth on those parlays, but I will be putting down another wager on Jordan Spieth. That's my guy.
Unless he wins in Houston.
If he wins in Houston, then...
He may even feel more confident.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't feel bad, put it that way.
Yeah.
But he's my pick to win, so that's from the top.
And I would say this, of any of those elite players... and none of them winning in Houston, to me, would negatively affect their Masters.
It would almost positively affect it.
If a mid-level guy win, that would be like
if Rafa wins, he's not winning the Masters. Not that he's winning the Masters anyway, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you're exactly.
If Finau wins...
Well, he's a debutant, so I kind of feel like there's already something. But yeah, Rafa's almost like the perfect example of something, of kind of what I was referring to. As for me, I got my DJ Ricky.
But if you had to wipe it clean, let's say you have no money on it. And I'm not saying I'm holding you to this bet or anything like that, but if you were just walking in fresh today, you looked at these odds, who would you bet?
Of the
top guys.
Of the top guys, I would have money on Dustin Johnson, and I would wait for more of a Noren. So
you would commit to Dustin at the 10-1 number right now, and then you'd wait and see what happens with the rest of the numbers.
I'm confident Noren, Fleetwood, and Hatton drift, and even at the numbers they are flirting with the 40s and 50s, I would probably still get on them.
All right. So our Masters preview, like I mentioned, we'll be back on Monday to finalize our picks, give our one-and-done picks of the week, and we'll talk about some props.
A lot of props, fun props. Like give the nationality.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people like
Masters
Europe,
props are great.
People just seem to think Europe is going to continue their trend of winning green jackets. Maybe so, but yeah, the props are everything.
And we'll have more information. We'll be able to react to Shell and have the updated odds. I know we always do this show on the Friday the week before, but it's nice to have a compliment piece. And if people don't know, I asked you. I was trying to get Cam in. I couldn't do it because Cam has a show that he has to do 4 to 7 every single day. If people are wondering where Cam is, that's where Cam is. Cam's on Fantasy Sports Radio 4 to 7 every single day, Monday to Friday with Morency and Tony Sincata. So if you're missing Cam, he's live for 3 hours a day. You can go check him out. I tried to get him in here because we're doing a live Cut Sweat show on Friday. We're going to be watching the final 2 hours of the Masters. It's going to be streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. And you and I are just going to be sitting here chatting. We'll bring in some people to talk about it.
We're just going to be filmed watching the Masters. It's
Yes. So essentially, Paul, go to the 2 for a second. So instead of sitting like this, we'll be sitting like this.
And we'll be
watching it on the TV as we're just commenting back and forth.
Okay. So I guess as long as we don't...
And we won't be wearing these awful jackets.
And I guess as long as we don't do any actual play-by-play, we're not breaking any information.
Yeah, and we can be looking at the shot tracker because
Lord
knows we're not going to be showing everyone.
With the Cut Sweat though, are you not worried it might be a little anticlimactic with the
That's why I want to start it. Well, that's what happened. That's why I wanted to test out the live Cut Sweat show, and I did that a few weeks ago. And I started it way too late because the cut was determined before I went on air.
Here's the other problem. I don't well, I'm sure you're talking about it on all your shows. 6 for 6 ain't gonna get you anything.
The first thing I mentioned on the Millionaire Maker show.
Ain't gonna get you shit. I had so many.
6 for 6 is the bare minimum that you need just to potentially get a min cash.
Oh yeah.
Look. When you think about it, Wes Bryan, Couples. He hasn't played in ages, but I'll just say Wes Bryan, Couples, Potter, Vegas, VJ, Neiman, Redmond, Grimm, Cabrera, Langer, Ellis, Immelman, Weir, Lynn, Lyle, Parisel, Woosnam, Maria Olathable, Marco O'Mara, Larry Mize. That's 20 players. 15 of those guys are missing the cut.
I was going to say like 17, so yeah.
Now VJ's playing well. And Freddie Couples can always make the cut, and Langer can make the cut. Like, a few of those guys will make the cut. Because so many people make the cut. And when we talk about like the top 50 guys in this field, only like 4 of them are going to miss the cut. So, unless the weather gets real wonky like it did.
And do guys have to play the par 3 now? Did they change it because guys were like bailing on it?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to that stuff.
It's just fun TV.
Also, don't bet the guy that wins the par 3.
No.
Everybody
Like, are you
knows
one of
that.
those people that, are you like anti like the golf and the babies that like par 3 brings?
No, it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Put it this way, if you're putting down wagers on like the par 3
No.
contest, some people do. And some people will, if they're, who was it? I think Harris English won a few years ago.
Do you know who I would bet to win?
Ted Potter Jr.
That was going to be my next guy. Sharma.
Yeah, Sharma will just be fired up.
Yeah, I don't know. Here, let's go win a trophy at the Masters. Like, wouldn't that be awesome?
I mean, if it was my first or second, Austin Cook, live player in the par 3.
Yeah, if it was my first trip there, I'd be like, I'm going to win.
I'm not winning anyway, so let's win this.
Yeah, I'd be flag. Oh, I guess they're all flag hunting at that thing, but
I wonder if VJ will try to do the skip it across the water again.
I'm sure they will.
But like Phil will intentionally just chip it like 3 feet into the water to make sure that he doesn't win.
But as would 90% of the guys.
All right, that'll do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. You can follow Jeff on Twitter at GFienberg17. You can follow me at the PME on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My betting cheat sheet and power rankings for the Masters are up on my Facebook page right now. Twitter is where you're going to get everything else from. But I do want to let everyone know, if you want to get into the contest for the Millionaire Maker ticket giveaway and you missed out on Shell, use the hashtag DKMasters. Leave your DraftKings name in the tweet and retweet this show and retweet the Masters Millionaire Maker show. I gotta get the people out there. I gotta get the show around. So if you do that for me, I'll put you in a draw, and hopefully I can get you some DK bucks if you're one of the lucky ones. Share it on Facebook too. I could use the Facebook help. I'm not the best at the Facebooks. My grandma's better at the Facebooks than I am at the Facebooks. And you're not even on Facebook.
And is that not a time for me to take a bow?
What?
All these years later, I never had a Facebook account.
I still use Facebook I use the Messenger.
Yeah.
Is what I use.
Someone
and to share my work.
After Philip Rivers called me, one of my friends set up a fake Facebook page. That isn't me. The profile picture is me when I met Manny Ramirez in an airport, but I didn't. That's a fake account.
It's fake news?
I guess so.
Think Trump's gonna go to the Masters?
No.
I'd say there's a higher than 0% chance that he just shows up at the Masters one of these days.
But he didn't go to the Masters when he wasn't president. I guess not that we would know if he went, but no.
He'll like buy the course.
No, it's probably the Masters is inferior to like Doral to him, probably.
Probably, but if like Tiger's in it, he'll just want to be seen with
Does
Tiger.
he have a bad relationship with the tour? Not so much.
Yeah, he does, but
the players.
But he has a good relationship with the players. He cut all their taxes, so they're all fired up for Trump.
True.
It's the only thing golfers care about: the monies. People think it's anything different.
No,
they don't know golfers.
No, they don't. You think a golfer wants to show up, give a week of his time, play 2 practice rounds, have to do a pro-am, and play 2 days for free and miss a cut? When he could go do $100,000 like 4-hour seminar for Accenture? Time is like, no, these guys, they don't come home empty. And the wives get mad when they come home empty.
Especially Matt Kuchar's wife. So he better make the cut. I'm telling you, man, when he turns 50, he's going to be the king of the Champions Tour. Bringing home those 375
How old is
paydays.
he now?
Like 40. He's 10 years away. Matt Kuchar's way younger than he looks.
Zach Johnson might be 48 or something, no?
Zach Johnson now, he's like 40. Like, they're all Tiger's age. They're closer to Tiger than they are to
Do you know
Phil.
Bubba is like old?
Bubba's 38, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is Duffner.
See it more. I don't know. Bubba kind of surprised me how old he actually was.
All right, we got to get out of here. We got to save some of this material, our great material, tremendous material. We got to save it for Monday. So again, props, one and done, and finalized picks. Please give the episode a like, go rate and review wherever you can download the audio podcast. Remember, hashtag DKMasters, your DK handle. Share on Facebook or retweet both the shows on Twitter. It would help me out a lot. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the long weekend. I'll see you next time.
Mayo Experience! Experience!